I pulled a muscle doing some pull-ups earlier. So my posture is a little uptight, but thank God it's not that bad. Um, yeah, man. Tribe of Benjamin podcast. I'm live. Hope y'all enjoyed yesterday's video as I enjoyed making it or making this one. And I kind of like what I said yesterday, um, to get deep but not too deep and basically just say, hey, let's talk religion, let's talk politics, let's talk sports, let's talk entertainment. And I like how I covered, those four areas. Um, Today, I want to talk relationships. I want to talk faith, which is still religion. I want to talk um, politics, and I'm going to talk. I'll talk a little sports. I'll talk a little bit of sports as well. Let's get the sports out the way. Cocoa High School, which is in Brevard County, which is he was young. Um, in the appropriate ages to go to high school. He was there, I believe, 2007, 2008. And if anyone doesn't know, I'm talking about my brother, Deron Woodbury. Um, this Cocoa high school team won championships in that era. Um, I believe they won in '09, 2010, and they've just been winning ever since, just winning, winning, winning. So to come back to Florida this year, this semester of um, the kids are in school where they're playing football this time of year, whether you're in high school or college. Um, and people are watching NFL, obviously, still. But the fact Cocoa High won a state championship in 2024, that was on the radar and noticed by many people in Florida, the country, and especially right here in Brevard County. So, big shout out to Cocoa High, playing hard football, getting the job done. And obviously, it's a big shout out to the coaching and to the implementation they put in. Um, all the good stuff, the positive stuff, and stuff it takes to be a team and win. Um, they really put it in and implemented the right pieces to get the job done. And I believe I heard they did a three-peat. If I'm not mistaken, this was their third championship in a row, which is even people don't recognize that how hard it is to do that. Um, and even though we're talking high school, we're not talking people making money on a professional sport. This is what kids dream about and dream for, to be a part of a winning organization and not really think about the money. A lot of kids' dreams and adults' dreams are to win in any sport and to win championships and to win multiple championships as possible. So a lot of people's dreams definitely came true with this high school football team. The past 20 years, what they've been able to accomplish in the past 20 years is phenomenal. For me being where I'm from and having moved back to Rockledge and to go to Cocoa every day to go to work, that I go to work, I'm right in the region. All this stuff is going on. And they went out of town to do the championship game down in Miami, I believe, and they won the championship game. So that's what the big news was. They had a celebration over at Cocoa Riverfront Park. And anything else besides the sports, I heard that Magic came back and beat the Heat. I wanted to check the replay on that because it was a high scoring game. And that's a local rivalry people don't talk about enough, is the Magic versus the Heat. right here in Florida. You know, they play in Orlando, they play in Miami. I believe this one was in Orlando. So if I could get back to you guys on that, I can give you guys my thoughts about the game. But I definitely want to look into that. I heard Magic won. I used to be a big Orlando Magic fan. Before I was a Heat fan, I was an Orlando Magic fan. Um, and that was the Penny Hardaway days. That was the Tracy McGrady days. Um, and then even the Dwight Howard era before, I ended up moving away from Florida and had hard on a whole bunch of other stuff that wasn't even really sports related anymore. So I also moved to the West Coast, and it was just Seahawks out there, and I never really went to a Seahawks game. But as far as sports, the teams that I still like, as far as regions and mascots, obviously is any place I ever lived. So shout out to Austin, Texas, and the Longhorns. I lived out there. I rooted for that team to win. Still rooting for them to win. Um, Anybody that I can recognize as, hey, this is where I've lived or where I've been or where I'm at. Let's see a championship. Let's see some sparks fly around my region. So I believe, shout out to Space Coast High School. I believe they won some games as well. The Vipers, I believe they're called, and the Cocoa High School is the Tigers. But outside of high school, we talk about college. Big shout out to the Huskies, University of Washington. That's right up there in Seattle where I live. You got to shout out. Obviously, when I lived in Austin, Texas, and continue to go to Austin, Texas, whenever God brings me down there, it's definitely, Longhorn Nation out there. Um, and I lived in Tallahassee, so it was definitely Seminoles, living out in Orlando, UCF, and spending visitations down in the South Florida. You know, you definitely show love to the Heat. Uh, Always like the Dolphins and the Jaguars as well, but I lean more toward the Dolphins and the Tampa Bay Bucks, as I seen their success. And the Bucks was the last one to get a national championship through the Tom Brady era. So these are just teams that I've watched. I like because represents the places I live and where I'm from. So I'm a bi-coastal guy, and you know they even call Central Texas Third Coast. So Third Coast being the Gulf of Mexico coast, and not just East Coast and West Coast. Is important to shout out all those states that border the Gulf of Mexico. That's their own coast. So Third Coast, we call it. Um, if y'all want to call Fourth Coast like the Northern Midwest, y'all can call that Fourth Coast. Fifth Coast, Hawaii, Alaska. However, Alaska's still West Coast. It's on the western side, but Hawaii could be Fifth Coast. Great Lakes could be, Fourth Coast. But Third Coast for sure, the Gulf of Mexico region. And I've lived in all these coasts, West, Midwest, and East Coast, three coasts. So shout out to all the teams of the cities I've lived, the metro regions I've lived, and we highlighted Coco because that's right where I'm at. There's no professional organizations that anybody would know besides Orlando Magic down the road. So we got the Magic, and they won a game against the Heat. So we'll check on that. All right, changing topic from sports. Let's go ahead and switch it to faith and religion, and just say this: my faith, my religion. If you don't know, now you know. It's all. I'm living in Revelation, baby. It's all Revelation. It's all Mark of the Beast prophecy being fulfilled. It's all Church of Philadelphia, seven churches being fulfilled. I am part of the Church of Philadelphia, Church of Brotherly Love. I am, one of the chosen to get through the hour of temptation. One of the 144,000 sealed in the forehead. And, you know, this is my belief, my faith. So I'm going to continue to endure. um, these times, but I've definitely felt a shift in energy, and I feel like it's for the good of all that live on the planet. That a lot of the purging that's taken place has opened up a door to not just nostalgia feeling, but a feeling of humanness, of being human again. A lot of us have been so, it's hard to breathe and enjoy life. So I feel like br- the breath of life is getting a little bit better, if that makes any sense. So that's an update on how I feel about the times. Far as religion, got to read my Bible. I read a verse a day. I need to read more. I'm guilty of not reading enough word, and that needs to change immediately. So maybe next segment I could read a scripture or break down something I read to you guys. Right now, nothing's coming off the dome. So as we turn from religion, that was a short segment, but religion and faith, we'll pivot to talk about entertainment. We already did sports. We did religion and faith. We could switch to entertainment. Um, and wasn't there another one? Entertainment falls under music, movies, pop culture, news articles, miscellaneous topics. To me, that's entertainment. So, um, I mean, I feel like I could say a lot about that because I'm always on worldstar.com, Hot New Hip Hop, Google News, local news, multiple local news websites. Also, constantly looking at global headlines. Well, not global, but oh, politics is the last one. Sorry, politics. We'll do politics after this on entertainment. But yeah, someone that looks into the news and headlines and reads a lot of things on the internet as far as American culture and what's going on and how it's framed on the internet. Um, Basically, I talk about those things. I talk about stuff I see and kind of apply my own opinion or notion or whatever, and I'll put it out there on the podcast. So basically, um, and a big shout out and so who Antonoff is and why it's important to the culture of arts, um, not just what he's done, but more recently what he did on the Kendrick Lamar GNX album, and to really just put a spotlight on people behind the scenes like Jack Antonoff who are going so hard at creating timeless masterpieces, classics. And I say that in the spans of how the culture exists, Jesus is forever, but for that world, that be entertainment, when you look at someone like Antonoff efforts he put on the Kendrick Lamar's GNX album, it says GNX is still on repeat for not only me, but for millions across the country. Kendrick has finally been getting in the headlines. And Kendrick is going to present all his ancestors that got him there to that point to be in the spotlight of the world stage, um, to be on the spotlight for the Super Bowl coming up, which is the biggest event on TV for America. I'd say bigger than the World Cup for us in one night. People, maybe the football, but it's definitely been an event. Um, as long as I've been alive, people watch the Super Bowl, and I've been alive since 1991. So it's Super Bowl is almost like Thanksgiving dinner to people. It's like it is what it is. But you got Kendrick Lamar who won the Super Bowl halftime show, which is a big deal because when you look at the age of Kendrick Lamar being under 40 years old, spotlight, coming off the year that Usher just did the Super Bowl. And Usher is a man older than Kendrick Lamar, and been in the industry longer than Kendrick Lamar. To see the jump, and we know the weekend. We can shout out to the weekend. He did get the Super Bowl in Tampa when the Bucks won that year, which was a big deal for the weekend. Um, was I surprised when the weekend got it? I mean, yeah, because again, so young. The weekend was on that stage, and he's 30 years old, 31, um, or 32. I think he's around that age. He's born in 1990, and you know, the weekend blew up so fast in a decade. From 2012 to boom, 2022 Super Bowl, and his music is global. He's a singer. Um, People call him Michael Jackson reincarnate. Um, you know, he may not dance like Michael, but the voice, the vocal cords, they're down in there. And the pop hits, the smash hits, the cross of melancholy, sadness, real times of the world, mixed with trying to find love and getting caught in lust and drug addiction, and trying to put a symphony and a music behind it, has created the weekend to be larger than, huge in the megasphere of the music industry. And the name is the weekend. This stuff is people play on the weekend and get lit to, and go out to and do all types of things to that music. And he's penetrated the AM, the FM radio waves across the globe. Shopping malls, squares, everywhere has played the weekend music. And whether you knew what he looks like or not, um, he springboarded up into the spotlight of, you know, top five global um, superstar, current, and you got um, he got the tick outs, the sellout shows, the world tours, the accolades, the airplay, the charts, all that to prove it. So he got the Super Bowl, and that was huge. Now let's fast forward. You get Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar made an appearance on the 2023 Super Bowl. And if you didn't realize, this is going to be Kendrick Lamar's second appearance, but this time the stage is his. So it's a big deal seeing Kendrick Lamar get this Super Bowl. Um, and it was important to really talk about the weekend, what he's put in his Super Bowl as well. Because before Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, a lot of people, Mary J. Blige, they did that Super Bowl, and it was a group effort. And I believe Dr. Dre was definitely the main guy who orchestrated each person to have their piece, and make sure you got the yay or nay through Dr. Dre. So we could break that down, but Kendrick Lamar was definitely there. Dr. Dre made sure Kendrick Lamar had his spot, and Kendrick killed it. And everybody knows he killed his part for that Super Bowl. So now, from 2023 to 2025, you're seeing Kendrick show back up again. And that's why this is such a big deal, because for people that love the entertainment and the industry and the music, Kendrick's music has penetrated the hearts and souls of listeners worldwide through rapping, through his talent, through his metaphors, through his delivery, through his sophistication, his intelligence, the team that put out the music. You can go listen to a song like Blow My High off Section 80, and that's music you could listen to while on planet Mars. It would make sense to listen to that music while you're planet hopping. Not everybody makes music you can think about and want to listen to in futuristic areas and places. So Kendrick has definitely stood the time, and that song and album came out in 2011. So a lot of white people love Kendrick Lamar, and a lot of white girls, not just addicts who are addicted to substances, but just people that enjoy novels and reading. People love using the word. He's a Pulitzer Prize winner. People like me did not know what Pulitzer was or is, but it opened up to the greatness that Kendrick Lamar has possessed through artistic delivery of building this thing with a team, you know, over the decade plus that he's been known in the game as Kendrick Lamar, So anyone that doesn't know, Kendrick Lamar dropped a self-entitled EP December 31st, 2009. So New Year's Eve, he introduced the entire world to him on one of the big EPs of his catalog. Most people have not, including myself, fully dove deep into. But since 2009, like he said on Not Like Us, he had this junk bumping. He had the West, he had the East, he had people's attention since '09 when he dropped that EP on New Year's Eve. So you really got to think about why this Super Bowl is so major, not just for Kendrick, but for just the stars aligning for everybody that's been putting work in, like Kendrick. Let's just say that. I'm not saying people ain't working hard like Kendrick is, but not everybody is working hard like Kendrick is. So if you hear his latest album, GNX, he talks about, on whacked out murals, you need to work hard like I do. And he's introducing the world to his song. And he's letting people know this is hard work that I've been putting in to give you guys this body of work. And to be so confident in the current body of work he's put out, everyone's just got questions and exclamation points like, damn, Kendrick is the one. He's the Neo of the rap industry. But the rap industry's become leading streaming and music consumption. The rap industry is broken to type of rap. What stems from it: the R&B, the hip hop, the fusion, the soul. So you're basically seeing someone like Kendrick become a king before your very eyes of the music world. For America especially. So that's why all the stars aligning for that Super Bowl is a big deal. In the middle of a new age in America, a Donald Trump presidency, an alpha male rise to the scene, a breath of change. So this I guess I'm really going on the entertainment side, but this piece in this moment in time for Kendrick Lamar and everyone supporting him. So I had to shout out Jack Antonoff and Soundwave, of course, the wave, TDE, Top Dog Entertainment, people that I don't know, I've never met in my life, but the the work that they've produced, the artistic expression that's been produced by this camp, and their number one star has been Kendrick Lamar. I did talk about another video about, the Beatles and talking about the other members, but just to simplify, everyone that is helping Kendrick, gets credit, gets noticed, and Kendrick's going to be first to let people know, thank God, thank the family. That's real family. We ain't talking about blood. We're talking about people that's been there, who stayed true, who stayed down, who we all fuck up. We all have mistakes, but who you got through the hard times and good times with, and that made it to this point, is a big deal for them. So yeah, just talking about that, the Super Bowl, Kendrick, and it's also big to talk about not just about Kendrick Lamar as the artist, but as the type of art he does. It's very multifaceted. It's very multidimensional. He can give you the R&B singing. He can give you auto tune. Kendrick can do a lot of different things to his voices. Give you the conscious rap. Give you the voice of your conscience talking to you. And then not just the metaphors, the triple double entendres, similes, wordplay. He can still do that 90s rap, that golden age of rap, that really attacks your brain for you to figure out everything that's going on in the verses and the bars, along the melodies and the notes of the song. Not many artists can still do that. We have had the Mandela effect and all these things happen to us as the species on this planet over time, that a lot of that has died and been lost, like extinct, like the dinosaurs. So that's why it's such a monument, a moment for Kendrick Lamar to have the. Sorry, my back is hurting, guys. I gotta lay back. For Kendrick Lamar to have that moment on the Super Bowl and what it stands for. So I said all that without mentioning Drake, the nemesis that's been the biggest rap beef post post Tupac Biggie. We got the what to kids. I'm not gonna say how it actually was. Y'all can go watch the movies, do your own research. But the Tupac Biggie beef, even the personalities of the camp seem like really fist and gun, and it seemed more carnal like war. Even when you look at the video of Tupac fighting in the hotel, you know, drive-bys that happened to both Biggie and Tupac, it was very carnal like a war, right? And I don't think I've seen any videos of Biggie fighting or anything like that. But when you look at that rap beef, which is not to be glorified about killing or violence, but hey, the wicked are gonna fight the wicked. It's simple like that. Um, when you look at the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef, it's way more premeditated. It's way more subliminal. It's way more like this electricity fighting in the air. It's way more of a spiritual darkness, good evil versus bad evil. It's such a it affects the entire industry. This beef does without people even consciously realizing it. That this beef is, like I said, the biggest since Tupac Biggie, and both artists are still alive and breathing as far as everybody sees, perceives how everything looks. It looks like Drake's still alive. It looks like Kendrick's still alive, and they're dueling it out through the music, through the tours, through the merchandise, through the videos, through the teams, the camps. There's a line that's been drawn, and there's this rift in the middle of not only the music industry, but the artistic world. And it's been really, it's been a ride. It's been a ride for everybody, especially in America, to watch this play out. Whether you're a fan and know what's going on, or whether you just catching the aftershock waves of what's happening. This has been a carnival circus of real, of fake, of ups, of downs, of left, of rights, of all types of things coming out of this full circle moment of a battle, like the Civil War, like the Confederates versus the whatever the other side was called, the Republicans. I don't I don't know, but yeah, this has been a big year for Kendrick Lamar. He's getting the number one global pop star headline, so bigger than just rap. It's pop level. It's the biggest level you could think about. So I just wanted to highlight that for him, and then what the after effects of this rivalry of everything going on is, without going in depth about that. So, stepping on politics, speaking about it, let's go ahead and shift from entertainment to politics. Um, Man, when you're an American, when you've been talking about this Trump presidency for so long, and then the day finally came, and it's almost like, for me, I forget about all the headlines. And when I talk about headlines, I mean the mass press and the media of all these outlets, whether it's NBC, Como News, um, Fox, CNN, AP, Associated Press, Washington Post, New York Post, the New York Times, the Miami Herald, the Florida Today, Channel 9 Eyewitness News, Spectrum News, King 5, Cairo 7, like NBC Bay Area, whatever news I was reading and watching over the past year, we'll say, it's been nothing but a lot. I'm not gonna say everything because we have other things going on in the world, but it's been a lot of politics, so much political stuff, and the biggest name in all the politics has been the name Donald Trump. Donald J. Trump, and the fact is, throughout all the headlines of, oh, he did this, oh, he wants this, all the radicalism of using Donald Trump's name throughout all the papers, and then the major headlines on what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania, then all the headlines after of who's in Mar-a-Lago, who's in West Palm, who's down in Florida, or where's Trump going next, and then the fight between the Kamala and the Trump, and the debate and this and that, and the New York Garden, Times Square, the Elon appearances, so much going on around Donald Trump that it's just out the window. And you're just looking at what's going on right now, each day. And it's like, hey, it's a countdown until the world sees Donald Trump in that White House, in that seat, in that position, with the absence of a Joe Biden, um, a Joe Biden led uh, government. The shift of Trump coming in, everybody who's on his team, who sits in those new seats that are going to be vacated, both political and just uh, second and third party family members, relatives, whoever it is, who will also be in those rooms and a lot of those places of meeting up that they're allowed to go. It's just a countdown till January. And everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. But it's almost like for me, and I think for a lot of people, you don't really worry about all those headlines anymore, um, because it's a headline, and a lot of those headlines were counting against Trump to not win. A lot of those headlines were to make his name, to profit off of his name, or to sell negative press on his name, and not to forget the favorable headlines. But the whole point is, all of that was said over the past year just for the man to be empowering and in charge, next to the richest man in the planet. And we know who I'm talking about. So this is it. This is the big one. And for America, and for Americans who are Trump supporters, or Americans who identify with how Trump stands on business and conducts business, or his personality traits, whatever you like about the guy, and the team he has, and the family he has, anything you can find out, any good thing to say about the man and the legacy and this guy being president. Um, Now's a good time to think about those things. It's a good time to talk about those things, talk about the good, the positive, because everybody who didn't want Trump to be president, it's too late. It doesn't matter what you wanted. It's done. So people like me who's been telling y'all it's coming, and he's been talking about this in the politics. I just talk about, leadership. Um, this is a big deal. And I'm finally happy we got here. But it's like everyone else is going to see, and it's not going to be any more jokes and ha ha ha. Let's see what's going to happen. It's going to be real come January. It's going to be real come February. And this whole, uh, you know, this whole presidency term. And it's going to start 2025 calendar year is when it's, written to to make the move where Biden is officially gone, and Trump is officially in. And it's not just Biden, it's bye to Kamala, it's bye to everyone else who ain't supposed to be there when the new president comes, and the handoff of power. So this handoff is real. Um, and by golly, they've been very patient. Everyone who's been a part of this process has been very patient, um, because it seems like it's taken forever, but it's happening so fast at the same time. So I just commend everyone's patience for not losing it. Um, and I guess that's the biggest thing we could say about the Americans is a lot of people have been real patient through this process, and they're not losing it. Because some people are ready for change, and they want it to happen right now. And some people are unsure about what's going to happen next, and some people are jumping the gun. So it's just good to know a lot of people have been patient, and they haven't been, jumping the gun, or they haven't been. Um, I'm not gonna say there's not people dragging the process and making things harder or difficult or slowing it down, but a lot of people, they're used to comfort and familiarity. They don't really want to see the biggest change they will ever witness in America. But it's inevitable of what's going to happen. And this is what, and everyone that's made it, this is what we were born for. We're made for this, the moment in time, um, as an American citizen, because we've lacked leadership in this country so long. And the past 4 years have been some of the hardest past 4 years in people's lives. And it's a new chapter, 2025, y'all. And you know, don't expect Don't expect it not to change. Expect the change. Expect the change. That's the biggest thing is you got to expect change. Don't expect nothing's going to change. No, you got to understand things are changing every day and things are going to change with this Trump administration. And I'm very excited about it. I can't wait. I've been going hard for Trump. I went down to Mar-a-Lago. I drove past I made those videos about Trump and I put a lot of support out. So a lot of us are happy that he's back in the seat. We're happy charges are getting dropped. We're happy all the bullshit's out the window and reality can begin because mankind runs the world. And we're not simping out. We're not letting ourselves be anything less than a man. And we're helping each other and we're talking more and we're cleaning out our closets and we're cleaning up our act. And that's what 2025 is about. It's a new shining chapter for man. So I think it's the time for men to be very selfish with what they're doing with their time, with the relationships they have, with everything you know, they're trying to do to maintain, their identity as a man. It's time to reform and rebuild. So that's why there's no time to sugarcoat how you feel or the whole free speech thing is like real men have free speech and real men are able to say how they really feel at a given time, and day. But we've been smothered, we've been muzzled, and we've been put to sleep by weak leadership. So now it's good to be waking up with strong leadership. And you got people like me who have paved the way to give free speech, to really say how they feel through the Tribe of Benjamin podcast. So you're welcome. People weren't talking like I was, 3 years ago. People weren't saying how they really feel. People weren't really breaking down politics, religion, sports, entertainment the way I was breaking it down. I was just a little all over the place and I was just freestyling, my streams of consciousness to the point that I did it so much on Instagram. I got the whole industry watching me and I'm causing shit to shake without even realizing it because I'm speaking my mind. I'm speaking how I feel. I'm speaking what I'm seeing. I'm speaking my research. And it's making sense because there's been a paradigm shift since. So it's just good that we're getting full circle to 2025 to really say, hey, man, this is the quarter century moment. This is the moment we've all been waiting for without realizing it. So it's good to usher that in with the Trump presidency. But like I told y'all, 4/11 is still my date. Like I will talk about it really being 2025 when it's April 12th, 2025. In the meantime, it's just a calendar year. It's just a way that control has worked on the masses when it comes to what a calendar looks like in the Bible versus what a 12-month calendar looks like to the world, to however the Chinese look at their calendar. You got to look at the seasons. You got winter, spring, fall, and it's just not my belief at all. And this is swinging back to the religion and faith. It's not my belief at all that January 1st or any day in January or February is a new year. So, people say happy holidays and all that. The whole Kwanzaa and the Hanukkah and Christmas and then New Year's Eve, New Year. All right. Y'all can keep all that, but I know what's up. So you don't really catch me participating in anything, but I'll look at it. I'm going to see the headlines. I'm going to walk outside. I'm going to acknowledge, you know, I see the Christmas lights over there. I see the kids playing with their toys. I see the pandemonium at the shopping malls. I see the crowds going to and from the consumerism. I work at a warehouse, so I know it's the time of year people are, trying to find some type of holiday spirit. And some people have resolutions and try to start the new year right, doing XYZ. But for me, I just let the truth be heard. So yeah, that's pretty much me top talking about the main topics I wanted to talk about: faith, religion, um, sports, entertainment, and politics. Because that's what I'm doing on this series of live streaming. Is I'm just gonna just break down the 4 or 5 topics and just talk about them, and not get too deep because I'm trying not to go over or under people's understanding here. And I'm just trying to keep it free speech. Let's talk. And this is YouTube. This is YouTube through the meta, through everyone that's tuned in. And I appreciate the one watcher who's been watching. And I appreciate the millions of people who are watching from the shadows. Appreciate you guys. But the point is this: sports, religion, politics, faith, entertainment. You got 5 things from me in under 50 minutes. I like doing these. I might do another one later. We'll see. But that was me basically. No notes, just telling y'all. I'm reporting right here from the United States of America. And I think it's real important for us to talk about where we're from. Not just what state you're from, but what country you're from. And I'm from America and I speak as an American. And there's just some things that we're born with we need to talk about. And a lot of people don't identify enough with their origins. So let's get back to the original. So yeah, Benjamin, I'll try Benjamin podcast. Thank you for tuning in. And let me post this. So when it's posted, post it. If you want to check out my stream from yesterday, my other streams, go check them out. And yeah, till the next one. God bless.